Hey everybody. So I haven't written a video in a while because I've been kind of busy and dealing with a lot of stuff, but I wanted to talk to you about some things that I learned this week that are actually really important. I want to update you on some of what I got going on. So I'll start with Ringling Museum of Art, the issue with me getting thrown out for the masks and everything. So Ringling Museum has finally responded. And I believe their response is that they believe that throwing me out and humiliating me and my girlfriend for not wearing a mask properly was legal. So it was really fascinating. I responded, and of course I appreciated them for telling me that, you know, their beliefs and putting it in writing, because that's really what I need them to do, is put it in writing. What I didn't know, and this is fascinating, it's something I learned this week. So we have a Constitution of the United States of America. What I didn't understand, or what I didn't learn, is that while the Constitution is actually the cornerstone of our entire American experiment, I didn't know that you have to actually invoke the Constitution. That's what was fascinating. In my research, because I'm preparing some other things, including indictments, I found out that in a Supreme Court ruling in 1972, the Supreme Court ruled that a public employee's job is considered their property. Now, it's interesting because even the Indiana Journal of Law and you know, they went through the case and they explained, you know, what happened in the case, and in it, the conclusion was that the Supreme Court had established that even benefits like welfare were actually tangible property once they were given. So they also said that it redefines the understanding of property, and it's unknown how the cases are going to proceed with that position. So as I looked at later cases, I realized they didn't sway from that. So according to the Supreme Court of the United States, under the 14th Amendment, which is the Due Process Clause of life, liberty, and property, a public employee or someone with a contract on something has a property right of possession to that object. And actually the U.S. Code specifically says that real property is either real estate or an object. So it actually supports that ruling. What was really interesting was the word claim. In the Supreme Court ruling, they said that the person must actually make a claim that they're acting and treating it as property. Well, a claim can be in writing, or a claim can actually be verbal, but you have to be able to prove it. Well, with Charlotte County government, when I made the claim that it's my property and I'm defending it, I invoked the United States Constitution, which means that the 14th Amendment is in play. It is tangible property, and according to the Department of Labor, it's been stolen. Now, this is really interesting because I learned a lot about invoking and claims. If you are saying that it's freedom of speech under the First Amendment, then you also have to state to the person that you are invoking the First Amendment for freedom of speech or freedom of religion. You have to tell them. And this goes back to my whole concept of you have to memorialize and tell them what you're doing, and that is making the claim. If you simply expect the person you're going to catch them, right? You're going to catch them, or you're going to write this little thing and they broke the law, and they didn't break the law until you tell them. But you have to say it. You have to tell them. and they have to be aware of it. Now, whether they ignore it or not doesn't mean anything. You've already set the precedence. The precedence is locked in with the expression. This is really, really important because I spend a lot of time standing on the Constitution, and I spend a lot of time standing on the amendments of the Constitution, because I've come to the realization that a lot of other laws are just messed up. There's a lot of problems with them. And since the Constitution is the foundation and cornerstone of civil rights in the United States, then just by standing on those laws, you're actually standing on the foundation. And I know that our laws are polluted. I know that nobody's listening. But you got to keep talking, and you got to keep establishing your rights, but you got to say it. That's what a claim is. If you never say that you're exercising your freedom of speech, then it's only left up to interpretation that you're exercising your freedom of speech. If you never say that you're in freedom of religion under the Constitution, then it's just an interpretation. How is the other party who's transgressing you supposed to know that you're invoking your civil rights if you don't tell them? Now, I did this, and I didn't know exactly what I was doing because I was still trying to figure this stuff out. But if you're going to stand on civil rights, then the people who are violating those civil rights, you're going to have to tell them. You need to tell them. You need to tell them they're discriminating against you. You need to tell them they're violating your accommodations. You need to tell them. They need to be aware. It's important because they need to have the opportunity to make reparations. And if they fail in that opportunity to make reparations, or they ignore it, or they get angry and pissed, well, that's their problem. It's not your problem. But you got to tell them, because then when they keep doing it, well, they're just guilty. And that's how you get them to admit their guilt without ever saying a word. So God bless you guys. Think about that. And I hope it helps somebody.